Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
And I'm Patrick, and you're watching another episode of Star Wars News and Views. In this video, we're going to be delving into everything we know about Snoke and possible candidates for who he could be. Of course, the most obvious and popular theory is that he's Darth Plagueis, so we're going to be doing that in a separate video, which you can view later. Supreme Leader Snoke made his first appearance in The Force Awakens as the leader of the First Order, as well as the dark mentor to Kylo Ren. He can feel an awakening in the Force. Leia says he seduced Ben to the dark side, and at the end, he vows to complete Kylo Ren's training. Beyond this, virtually no information is given about him, whether in the movie or in any spin-off material.
Alright, so a great way to lead into his identity and history is to consider, where is Snoke? He communicates only by hologram and isn't present on the First Order's major base of operations, Starkiller Base. Kylo Ren and Hux also spend much of their time on Star Destroyers and other ships, so he's also probably not present in the Imperial fleet, which also, could be dangerous in case of attack anyway. So since Kylo Ren was seduced by Snoke and seems to have trained under him, one would assume that Kylo has met him in the flesh. Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that, though. Palpatine's able to communicate with Anakin telepathically in Revenge of the Sith, and maybe Ben Solo's seduction involved Ben experimenting in the dark side and accidentally communing with Snoke, who he then only interacts with as a hologram. It's possible, anyway. One reason this could work thematically is that Snoke is kind of like a Wizard of Oz-like man behind the curtain. So while projecting a powerful image 50 feet tall, Snoke is actually said by Andy Serkis and the film's designers to be very, very old and very frail and very battle-damaged, and perhaps himself only very tiny, like a sort of dark side antithesis to Yoda. This deception ties into his name itself. The name of the dark side users always have a dual meaning. Darth Sidious is manipulative and insidious, while Darth Vader recalls maybe Death Invader or Dark Father. So if Snoke is dangerous because of his deceit, it's fitting that the name Snoke is itself a combination of snake and smoke, deadly but his true nature shrouded. So we might be playing Kylo Ren from a safe distance.
This brings us back to the original point. Where is he? If he's not with the fleet or on Starkiller Base, then he's probably safely hidden on some planet somewhere where he can control the First Order sort of behind the curtains and Kylo Ren from a distance. An honest answer may be that he's on the Sith homeworld of Korriban, where he maybe first accessed the dark side knowledge and where he can continue to grow his power. But even in the new canon, Korriban was known to the Jedi and the Republic during the Clone Wars, which, by the way, is still part of the official canon. You could argue that this knowledge got lost over the years, but it seems like a bad idea to be hiding in a place that other people already had prior knowledge of, and that Luke and his Jedi Academy would have been well aware of. Hang on to that thought, but there are other planets, some perhaps forgotten and lesser known, that may have been homeworld to the Sith, temples and places strong on dark side lore. And it could have been one of these places that Snoke calls his home.
But let's return to the idea of Kylo Ren, Luke, and his attempt at the Jedi Academy. There's going to be a lot of speculation here because, there simply isn't any expanded universe info on this stuff. So we just finished explaining how Snoke could have seduced Ben Solo without him ever encountering him in the flesh. But just to contradict that, let's consider a different spin on this. According to Andy Serkis and designers involved in the creation of Snoke, Snoke has been around for a very long time and knows of the events of the saga, but wasn't around during the original trilogy. So while the Sith have the rule of two, that being that there are only two Sith at any one time, a master and an apprentice, in the expanded universe it is revealed that Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious abolished this and wanted to begin taking on multiple apprentices at once. Of course, this isn't canon anymore, but it just goes to show that writers found a way around that. So it's possible that Snoke was either a Force user who found either a Sith temple and taught himself, or even that he once found a master who is long since dead.
Kylo Ren is interested in his grandfather Darth Vader and wants to match his power on the dark side. This may have started off as mere curiosity in his more innocent days as Ben Solo. Knowing that there are several worlds where it might have been inhabited and places of worship of the Sith, Ben might have been intrigued and wanted to visit them in secret. And it's there that he might have accidentally stumbled upon Snoke, whether in person or not, and begun secretly training in the forbidden power of the dark side. However, if Snoke had been waiting in hiding for the right moment to reveal himself, it's a bit odd that he has very serious injuries. You can make up any number of explanations. Maybe he sustained them when he was killed, or when he killed his former master, if you had assumed he had one. But another explanation is that when Kylo and the Knights of Ren massacred Luke's school, Luke was finally able to realize that Kylo Ren was being seduced by Snoke, and went to trace him down to find him and fight him. Snoke might have sustained great injuries in this battle with Luke, but ultimately won, forcing Luke to flee on his mission to find the first Jedi Temple so he could grow in power with the Force to finally defeat Snoke, which is where we find him at the end of Force Awakens.
So that would lead us to a big final question. Regardless of how Snoke learned the dark side, and you can invent any number of explanations there, it doesn't really matter, how in the world did he take over the remnants of the Empire? The only entries in the new EU to tackle the formation of the First Order are the Aftermath series of novels, and they don't feature Snoke. They do, however, feature Yupi Tashu, who was a close advisor, the word friend is even used, of the Emperor, and who is an acolyte of the dark side, meaning he subscribes to dark side philosophy but can't use it himself. And he's also an influential figure and part of the council called to establish the future of the Empire. The same book features a mysterious operator whose vision of how to reorganize the remnants of the Empire are actually very similar to what the First Order actually becomes. And he suggests that the Empire had become bloated and non-functional and needed to be allowed to die so that a newer, stronger version could be reestablished out of the order, out of the current chaos. But beyond this, if he could join forces with Tashu, who would recognize Snoke's great power with the dark side and the natural successor to Darth Sidious, together, could they stage a coup with the Operator or usurp the other Moffs and take control of the Empire and thus reorganizing it into the First Order? It seems like a big possibility, and that wouldn't require Snoke to be some version of Plagueis. Some have suggested that Snoke may even be the Operator himself, because he's seen only in garbled holograms.
It makes you wonder if J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan even have the answers to any of these questions. Behind the scenes, Snoke went through many variations, at one point being a beautiful woman, and Abrams didn't even want him to be old and frail because he thought he'd be too much like the Emperor.
Yeah, they wanted to differentiate it.
Yeah. Even as late as 2 months before the film was released, his appearance wasn't finalized.
Yeah.
Just as George Lucas didn't have the backstory to the Emperor, like the Emperor's fall to the dark side developed, that would have been fleshed out in the Plagueis novels 20 years later, J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan might very well have not have any of these details figured out, leaving the broad strokes to be finalized in the future films. And
they've even said as much, that the story's not written in stone.
Yeah. This points to Snoke being a new character that is so far unknown to fans and viewers, something Andy Serkis has even explicitly said. He also said at one point that he wouldn't be playing a mocap character, so you can't really take what he says at face value.
Exactly. But having said that, though, there still is the leading theory revolving around Darth Plagueis. Most of the details developed about Plagueis in the expanded universe has since become non-canon, as far as anyone can tell anyway, but Lucasfilm does seem to be lifting bits and pieces from the old EU to build and inspire both the new expanded universe and the films themselves.
Yeah.
So, Snoke being Plagueis offers a lot of good explanations to his character and history, but it also comes with a set of problems and contradictions. So, in the next part, we're finally going to tackle the question and try to give a definitive answer. Is Snoke Darth Plagueis, or is he something else?
Yeah, so that was our video. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any other theories or anything that you want to back up, leave comments and
please leave comments. Yeah. Leave your Darth Plagueis comments for the next video.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about that next time. So
you can check out the link somewhere around here or maybe down here. I don't know. But I know you'll all have something to say about that. So yeah, watch part 2.